everyone. My name is Chris Guida, and today I'm going to teach you how to be a sovereign Bitcoin merchant with a point of sale called Ambrosia. I'm a Bitcoin medium of exchange researcher, developer, and educator, and this is where we are and when we are. So welcome, everybody. So this is a hands-on workshop. I designed this to be I hope you guys brought your laptops because the point of this talk is for everybody to try out Ambrosia. The point of Ambrosia is to be very, very easy and cheap, and the point of it is so anybody can do it. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So if anybody is not able to do the tutorial, that's a bug, and that should not happen. So everybody should be able to do this tutorial from beginning to end. You will all be able to get to the end, and basically the end is where you create a product and you sell it, and then you pay it using a Lightning invoice. So ready? Raise your hand if you're ready. All right, cool. Awesome. We got 1, 2, 3. You ready? 4. All right, cool. All right, 5. All right, sweet. All right, like I said, this literally works on Windows. Like you can actually do this on Windows. So did anybody bring Windows? Raise your hand if you have a laptop with Windows. All right, cool. We don't have to. Oh, this guy. Does your laptop have Windows? Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right. Okay, so what's Ambrosia? Ambrosia is a new point-of-sale application on PhoenixD. The point of it is, so here's some features that it was designed with in mind. It uses the Lightning Network, so this is much better than in the old days when we had to use on-chain for merchants. That was just dead on arrival. It was very, very difficult because it did not have instant finality. You had to sit there and just wait for a confirmation, or you just had to go with zeroconf, which was insecure. So Lightning has a good UX, and it has instant finality. Ambrosia is easy to install, and like I said, you're going to see how easy it is, hopefully, in this tutorial. That gives it an advantage over things like btcpay, which are a little more sort of server admin intensive. There's zero maintenance, so because it uses PhoenixD, so you don't need to run Core Lightning or LND, so you don't need to do like channel management or liquidity management or manage your fees or anything like that. Everything just works. It runs on cheap hardware. The target hardware is the Orange Pi 02W, and which is $20, and then it's maybe about $50, $60 once you add in like the SD card and the charger and everything else. So that gives it an advantage over a full node. It allows merchants to accept Bitcoin directly into self-custody. So this gives it advantages over things like Wallet of Satoshi and Blink. And then it has a few advantages over using a mobile app. So you might say, like, why not Wallet of Satoshi? Why not Phoenix Wallet? Why PhoenixD? In case you don't know, PhoenixD is just the Phoenix wallet, but as a server daemon instead of as a mobile wallet. So that gives it a few advantages. You can have granular permission control. You can have multiple user setups. Where some users have privileged permissions and others don't. You have this always-on server idea, so you don't need to be on your phone in order to create invoices and receive payments. And then finally, it's flexible and extensible, so both PhoenixD and Ambrosia have APIs that you can hook into easily and develop richer applications on top of. And just a few notes before we start. This is alpha stage software. This is sort of the first time this software is being shown publicly. So there's some rough edges. And basically just beware of that. Probably don't go rush and just use it in production just yet. But if you're sort of technical and you're willing to help us solve bugs, then definitely go for it. If you're not that technical, I would say hold off for now. And obviously just report bugs when you find them. Like I said, the target production hardware is single board computers that are less than $100. We want to keep these cheap and accessible for everybody so that merchants can just focus on their business. Like I said, it runs on Linux, Mac, and Windows, so everybody should be able to do this tutorial from start to finish. And if once you do want to run this in production, you can use the same Docker Compose process. The only difference is that the Orange Pi that I have has 1 GB of RAM, and it crashes when you try to build the Docker images. And so I made some pre-built Docker images, and that will work just fine. So just let me know if you want to try that. There's a branch in the repo for that. OK, so the first thing that you should do is Does everybody have internet? Raise your hand if you don't have internet. All right, cool. Everybody has internet. All right, so please go to this tinyurl.com/btcpp-merchant, and that will bring you to the quick start tutorial. All right. Raise your hand if you have not gotten to this link yet. All right, yes. Sorry, okay, so you just want to look at this tiny URL? tinyurl.com/btcpp-merchant. All right, anybody else not on the tutorial yet? It should say quick start Ambrosia. Everybody good? All right, cool. So, you're what? You don't have the internet? Oh, okay. Can somebody help this guy connect to Wi-Fi? Yeah, it should be POPOP Taipei. And it should be an open wireless network. All right. So moving to the next step. All right, so the minimum requirements, as I said, you can actually do it with less than this. You can do this with 1 gigabyte, but you need the pre-built Docker images. So if you have less than 2 gigabytes of RAM, let me know, and when we can set you up with the pre-built images. Also, the pre-built images will require fairly fast internet because they're like 300 megabytes. So that's another reason why I'm building the images instead of downloading them, because building them will save bandwidth. Okay, so you basically just need Docker, Git, and curl. Raise your hand if you don't have Docker on your machine. By choice, okay. Are you cool with installing it for this tutorial? You can uninstall it after. Docker is very useful because it lets us have everything be self-contained and everything works the same on everybody's machines. So if you're on, is anybody not on Linux? This guy's on Mac. Okay, so you're on Mac. Do you have Docker desktop? You already have it? Perfect. Okay. Anybody else not have Docker yet? Everybody has Docker? Docker? All right, Tony's downloading Docker. I'm sorry? Is it what compatible? Podman. I don't know. Some of the commands will be different, but I don't think you can use Docker Compose with Podman. We can try it. I would just install Docker, though. I think you can install Podman and Docker on the same machine. That should work. OK. All right, so you're going to install curl, Docker, and Git. You're going to use curl just one time to download Docker Compose, this command. Then you're just going to chmod the Docker Compose. You're going to add yourself to the Docker group. And then this command just kind of does weird things to my terminal. So if that happens to you, you can just use this command instead, new group Docker. OK. Add yourself to group. OK. Verify that you have Docker. Should say something like that. Verify that you have Git. And verify that you have Docker Compose, because you're going to need that too. OK. Does everybody have Docker, Docker Compose, and Git? Does anybody not have any of those things? There was somebody who was, Tony, do you have Docker installed? Still downloading. How big is it? 500 megabytes? OK, on this Wi-Fi, that should be, it should be done by the time we finish. I have 45 minutes. OK. Docker Compose should.
It's not a different. In the latest version of Docker, it's just Docker Compose.
Okay, yeah. So Docker Compose might be Docker -compose, or it might be Docker space compose. If you have Docker space compose, just use that. You just replace the commands that you see with Docker space compose. It works exactly the same. There is no difference. Just the invocation. Okay. So Tony, we'll get to you once you're done installing Docker. Anybody else, are we waiting to install Docker? Everybody else has Docker, right? Still downloading? Okay, so you're waiting for Docker to install. All right, we'll get to you guys in a bit. So the most important step is we have to start this build. So go to the directory where you want to clone the Ambrosia directory and paste this command. So this is a git clone, and then it's a cd just to change in there. So you're going to hit enter. All right, so now we're inside of the Ambrosia directory, and then we can go ahead and start our build. Okay, so this command is going to take about 10 minutes on my machine, so I'm going to talk about some other stuff while that happens. Ready? Sorry? Yes, everybody should run this command. Docker compose up -d -wait and Docker compose restart. Like I said, if your Docker compose uses space instead of hyphen, just replace that there, and it should work the same. All right, so this is going to start the build. My terminal doesn't work great with Docker compose, but trust me, bro, it's working fine. Yours might look pretty, mine looks ugly. All right, so let's talk about sovereignty. So okay, so who's building now? So is the build running? Did it fail? Yeah, there's minus. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Everybody else is running the build, right? Except Tony and Connor, you guys are waiting for Docker to download, right? This guy, are you running the build? What is it? It's working? All right. This guy's got it? Running the build? Bonding. Oh boy, okay. Okay. Gigi, are you building?
I was having trouble. I'll just listen.
Okay. I mean, so again, that's a bug if it doesn't work. I think installing Docker might be the hardest part of this.
It's a new terminal prompts that I had issues with, but don't worry.
Okay. All right. All right. We need at least a few people to succeed. No, yeah, it'll say access denied for Ambrosia client and Ambrosia because it needs to build those. So I don't know why it says that. It doesn't need to say that. It just builds them when it doesn't find them remotely. All right, so you're building. Anybody else building? Oh yeah. So it'll say pull access denied. You can just ignore that. It will build the images. It doesn't need to pull them from remote. Okay, so your build is running. Okay, so we have 2 people running the build. Anybody else? Anybody else running the build yet? All right. Well, we might have 2 people complete this tutorial. How's your install going? Okay.
I'll find a way. I'll catch up.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, I think with you and who was the other person? There were 2 people that were building. Yeah, you and you. All right. We'll wait for everybody. We're going to talk about sovereignty. Okay. Does anybody want to tell me what Bitcoin's ultimate mission is? Peer-to-peer electronic cash. That's good. That's one of its ultimate missions. I think there's an even more ultimate mission. What's that? Number go up. No. Yes, this guy. All right, yeah. I will also accept destroy fiat, or separate money from state, or bring the sovereign individual future into existence. More on that in a bit. OK, so let's talk about what a sovereign Bitcoin merchant is. So has anybody read the book The Sovereign Individual? All right, sweet. That's like half the audience. All right, great. This is a really, really good book. It's really important for Bitcoin. It was written in 1997, basically, way before Bitcoin, and it sort of predicted the rise of Bitcoin. And more than that, it talks about the effects that Bitcoin will have on geopolitics, or megapolitics, as they call it. Does anybody want to just shout out what is a sovereign individual according to that book? Anyone? Yes. Yeah. So what they say is every 500 years there's these kind of like different epochs that depend on the economics of violence, they call it. And so there was the feudal era where there were knights. And knights could just kind of roam around. They had horses and they had armor, and they didn't really have to listen to anybody. And then after that, there was the industrial age, they call it, from 1500 to 2000. It's longer than most people define it, but basically, you have in the feudal age, you have a lot of decentralization because you have defense is cheaper than offense. And then in the industrial age, from 1500 to 2000, you have a lot more offense. You have a lot more centralization because offense is cheaper than defense. And then, so what they're saying is that this Bitcoin thing that doesn't exist yet, when they were writing in 1997, is going to cause the next age, which they call the information age, which is going to be decentralized again. So you have decentralized, centralized, decentralized. And they say it kind of alternates. So a sovereign individual is a little bit like a knight, right? They're these people that can kind of, they're not beholden to any state. Specifically in the information age, they're entrepreneurs. They're people who are creating wealth and creating jobs. And this is important because states depend on an economy, right? A state is basically a parasitical entity on top of an economy, which if it's a good state, it might not be entirely parasitical. It might provide useful services. But the idea is there needs to be an economy, otherwise there can't be a state, right? It has to take tax revenue from the host economy, right? So there has to be a host economy. And who creates the wealth in the host economy? Entrepreneurs. So what they say is that basically there will be these kind of individual entrepreneurs who will create wealth and create jobs, and states will be competing to make those, to attract those entrepreneurs to their jurisdictions so that they can have more economic prosperity, so that the state can have more tax revenue. And so they say basically these sovereign individuals become the customers of the state. And so so the states are all competing for these sovereign individuals for business, basically. And the states that are the most business friendly, who allow the sovereign individuals to conduct their business with the most freedom and the lowest amount of cost, are going to end up with the greatest amount of economic prosperity. So Bitcoin, when used as a medium of exchange, basically forces states to cater to entrepreneurs and brings this more decentralized future into existence. So the state relies on a couple of different types of taxes. I didn't include like kind of one-off random taxes like excise taxes and stuff. But basically there's kind of two main categories of taxes. There's the inflation tax and the capital gains and the income tax. Capital gains and income are sort of the same category for these purposes. So Bitcoiners can avoid inflation as long as they hold Bitcoin in self-custody. So this is like not paper Bitcoin. This is specifically self-custody Bitcoin. So there's been a lot of talks around here helping people using hardware wallets. That's very good because it means that Bitcoiners can avoid the inflation tax. And so the more people who hold Bitcoin in self-custody, the less the state can really use this mechanism to tax people. And then this one is a little bit lesser talked about. Demand for Bitcoin payments needs to be increasing all the time. Otherwise, the number doesn't go up. And your store of value doesn't work as well. So you really need demand for direct Bitcoin payments because that's Bitcoin's utility at the end of the day, is you can use it for payments. And Bitcoiners can avoid income taxes either by privacy, whereby you can avoid enforcement, or by relocation, whereby you can avoid liability. There's an exception here for US citizens because US citizens are taxed regardless of where they live. But if you're from most other places, you can just move somewhere that has a favorable tax regime and just move somewhere that has lower taxes. And you can basically lower or minimize your tax liability there. OK, so how's our build going? All right, so we're still building. All right, so this might be a few more minutes. So good. So a sovereign Bitcoin merchant is, in my opinion, the first concrete instantiation of a sovereign individual. This is how we make sovereign individuals, and this is how we bring the sovereign individual future into existence, is we enable these sovereign Bitcoin merchants. And so the picture that I'm trying to paint here in this talk is we have these kind of two parallel journeys that the world is going on. But there's a collective journey that the world goes on, and there's an individual journey that the sovereign individual goes on. And they mirror each other because as more individuals take the journey, and as each individual progresses through the journey towards greater sovereignty, the world becomes more decentralized and more free. So what are the stages of this individual sovereignty journey? So we have stage 0, which you all are familiar with. This is basically what I call fiat serfdom. This is where you earn fiat and you save in fiat. Not very exciting. Stage 0.5, you're beginning to wake up to Bitcoin, but you're not quite using it yet. You're earning in fiat, and you're saving in Bitcoin, but it's third-party custodial Bitcoin. So this is where you're leaving your coins on an exchange. So you're still in stage 0. You're still a fiat serf, but you're starting to wake up to the promise of Bitcoin. Next is stage 1. This is where you're what I would call dependent digital gold. So this is where you're still earning in fiat, but you're saving in self-custodial Bitcoin because you have a hardware wallet. Good for you. You made progress. Now you're really living on a Bitcoin standard. Next is stage 1.5, is where you're earning Bitcoin indirectly through trusted intermediaries. So this is where you're using, maybe you're a Square merchant, right? And you're letting Square sort of like hold the Bitcoin for you, or you're using Wallet of Satoshi and you're letting them hold the Bitcoin for you. And I'm asserting that this is kind of the same as stage 1 because it's kind of the same thing. It's effectively the same thing, right? You're using some intermediary in order to acquire the Bitcoin, and then you're sending it out to your hardware wallet to your own self-custody. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is what I call independent digital money. So this is where you earn Bitcoin directly using trust-minimized intermediaries. And the way I think people should do this is using what I call tiny lightning nodes. And some examples of these are AlbiHub and PhoenixD. PhoenixD is the one that we're going to be using today. Stage 3 is what I would call unstoppable digital money. This is where everybody is running their own full nodes. So everybody is totally sovereign, and everybody has full privacy. And at this stage, this is where, so stage 2 is kind of where Bitcoin starts to declare independence from fiat. Okay? It starts to be able to sort of live on its own, right? It cuts the umbilical cord. But fiat could fight back, right? But by stage 3, fiat can't really do much, and Bitcoin probably becomes the standard, right? So when we replace the fiat standard with the Bitcoin standard. And then stage 4 is, after there's a Bitcoin standard, after Bitcoin is the world reserve asset, now what? Now we have to make sure that Bitcoin stays decentralized. So we need to work on decentralizing mining, decentralizing software dev, decentralizing archival nodes is very important. So, OK, so how does Ambrosia fit into all of this thing that we're using? So Bitcoin is kind of stuck in its development between stage 1.5 and stage 2. So if you remember, stage 1.5 is where you're earning Bitcoin indirectly, and stage 2 is where you're earning Bitcoin directly. And the difference here is really just self-custody, right? You're able to operate a point of sale as a merchant, and you're able to receive that Bitcoin directly into your own self-custody without relying on some third-party custodian. That's what Ambrosia does. So right now, Bitcoin is a bit dependent on fiat, right? A lot of people, there's these kind of suit coiners who are like, yeah, just put it in an ETF, or the people who are like, oh, yeah, it's fine, just leave it on an exchange. Bitcoin can't really declare independence from fiat unless we progress to stage 2. So that's what Ambrosia does. In the future, you could run Ambrosia with your own full node. We would need to just move from using mempool.space's API to using Electrum. And and running your own, yeah, basically just using your own full node that you sync. And then PhoenixD has basically slight compromises. It's not fully trustless, right? You're still trusting the LSP a little bit because they're the only route to the Lightning Network that you have. So they could like cut you off. But the money is yours. So even if they do that, even if they disappear, you can still get that money back. And of course, you get, in my opinion, you get huge benefits from this trade-off. It minimizes cost and complexity for most merchants. And so that allows you to, that allows Bitcoin to sort of decentralize commercial activity, get more economic nodes. It creates this, what I call a Bitcoin middle class. So, you know, everything is much more decentralized and equitable. Instead of this, right now we just have like plebs who are just like holding Bitcoin in self-custody, and then we have like the elites. So we need a robust middle class in Bitcoin. And like I said, we can declare our independence from fiat. OK, so let's see if, OK, so I think, OK, so when your build is done, you should be able to see, say, Docker PS, and you should see some running containers. So this guy and somebody over here. No. Oh, yeah, Nick. So do you have the containers running? It's what? Step 8 out of 10. OK. Is it running? OK, cool. All right, so cool. All right, well, we'll have one person. OK. Yours is running. All right, awesome. All right, we got 2 people. All right. Tony, you built it and run it? Oh, dude, wow, you got a really fast machine. All right, cool. So we got 3 people. All right. That's awesome. All right, cool. Cool. All right. So that's. There were a couple of people stuck on installing Docker. Gigi, I think you were. OK. All right. OK. So I think we have like 4 people who are kind of taking this tutorial. All right. Good. OK. So now let's do the rest of the tutorial. All right. So after the build completes, you're going to back up your seed. Like I said, this is very important for before you put money on the node. In this tutorial, you will be putting money on the node. This is just so you can open a channel. The channel is necessary in order to complete the tutorial because you need a channel in order to receive payments. So I'm not going to do this step for obvious reasons because then all of you will be able to get my money. So we're going to move on to the next one. All right, so now there's this. This is a step that is specific for PhoenixD. So PhoenixD gives you something called auto liquidity. Basically, when you open the first channel, you can configure PhoenixD to give you 2 million sats of inbound liquidity. So this is if you were doing a production install and you were actually opening a shop. You would probably want this. You would want a lot of inbound liquidity so you can receive a lot of payments. That's the default behavior of PhoenixD. Unfortunately, it costs $25 to do this tutorial if we don't turn that off. So we're going to turn that off using this command, which is going to change our configuration. Run that. And that's going to change our configuration, and it's going to restart the PhoenixD container. OK, and then we're going to verify that this config the changes have stuck. So if this says auto liquidity equals off, then that means you're good. That means you only have to pay 5,000 sats to open the channel. And actually, it ends up being like 1,400 sats that will be non-refundable. So those will just go to Phoenix for the fee of putting the liquidity into the channel. The rest of the money will be yours, which you can then spend later. OK. All right. So finally, we're going to access Ambrosia. All right. So this is Ambrosia. This is what it looks like right now. We have this little setup wizard. Don't click restaurant for now. That's still being worked on. But store is sort of the intended path for this tutorial. So you're going to create a store. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make an admin account. So this is your username. I'm going to be Guida because that's my usual username. I'm going to make a super secure PIN. Don't steal my PIN. The password needs to have, I believe it's a capital letter, some numbers, and some symbols. So I'm just going to use this. It's a good example. Next. Now we're going to name our store Lightning Electronics. The rest of the fields are optional, but these will show up on your receipts when you send, when your customers pay for things. You're going to hand them a receipt. It's going to have that on there. Currency, I'm going to use the dollar because that's what I'm used to. But if you did want to use the Taiwan dollar, that is on here, and it'll figure out the exchange rate, or it should. Like I said, if you find bugs, let me know. There might be some weirdnesses with the session cookie, so you might just need to hit refresh if stuff is breaking. That usually fixes it. You got a build error. That's interesting. Yeah, that's probably just with your Docker install on Arch. I'll check it out in a bit. All right. Let me just, OK. Unknown currency acronym. Like I said, there's some bugs. Ignore. OK, so now, once we've set up our store and our user, now we're going to log in. So it should just be the user that you just created with the PIN that you just created. You have to actually push these in the UI. So if you're trying to do it with the keyboard, that won't work yet. All right, so we're logged in. So now what you're going to do is you're going to open a channel and get inbound liquidity. I've already done this step. But like I said, you'll need to do this to complete the tutorial. So just basically, you're going to go to the wallet, and you're going to put in your password. That's going to show you your wallet. So like I said, I've already done this step, so I have a channel. Once you have a channel, you'll see this little channel thing here. And then just go ahead and make an invoice for 5,000 sats. Put something like channel open. You're going to create an invoice. And then when you pay this invoice, it's going to give you a little success message that you paid it. And then you should see a channel like this. All right. Has everyone created a channel? Not yet?
Trying to continue the steps. So I logged in.
Yep.
And then now type the password.
Yep, so go to wallet. Yep, now type your password. OK, yeah, so you might just need to hard refresh the page and try this again. This is, like I said, there's some session cookie stuff. Do Command-Shift-R. Try that one. Yeah, now put in your password. Cool. Yeah. All right, yeah, so now you can make an invoice for 5,000 sats, and then that's going to open the channel. All right, how's it going over there? Oh, it's still building? OK. Okay. I think, are you running it in a VM, Docker? OK. All right. How's it going over here? What's that? Do you open the channel?
So what do I do?
So just put 5,000 sats and pay yourself 5,000 sats. Yeah, and then it'll open the channel.
But it bought me a channel?
Yep. Well, yeah, so you need a channel in order to, so yeah, if you say auto liquidity off, it will just give you a proportional amount to the amount that you paid in. So that's what it did, right? It just gave you I think it gives you 20,000. Yeah, it gives you a channel that's 20,000 sats total. So it basically just creates the smallest Lightning channel allowable, which is 20,000 sats.
Right. I would change the name of the config because it is also liquidity.
Yeah,
So,
that's
because I thought I would try it and then it tell me, oh, you don't have liquidity, and I would just open a channel myself.
Right, yeah, that's Phoenix D, and so we're going to actually hopefully work around that a little bit, but there's some weirdness with opening the channel on Phoenix D. What's that? Yes, yeah, so just pay the invoice and that should open the channel. All right, how many people have their channel? 1, 2. 2 people. All right, cool. And then you just opened yours, right? Sweet, okay, we got 3 people with channels. Great. All right, and then just to round out the tutorial, we're going to make a product, and we're going to sell it. All right, so we're going to make a sticker pack. We're going to go to the products page. I'm going to say add product. $5 sticker pack. Make a little description. We're going to add a category. Stickers. We're going to click add category. We're going to make an SKU, which is just a part number. And charge $1. Make sure you put a number here that's not 0 in stock, because then you won't be able to add any of the items to the order. And then you hit add. And don't try to add a picture. That feature is not working yet, so just don't add an image to your product. Okay, so now we're ready to sell our product. So I'm going to go to the next page here. All right, so we're going to say add. Oh, sorry, that's actually already on there. And then we're just going to do 2. Not a number. That's wonderful. All right. 2. And then we're going to change this payment method, make sure it says BTC Lightning, and then say pay. And that's going to give me a QR for $2. And then you're going to present this QR to your customer. You're going to wait for Phoenix to load. What happens when you do a demo on very slow internet. Why is what? Can you speak up? I can't. Right. Yeah, so we want all the payment methods to be integrated into one place. That way, merchants don't need to run a bunch of different points of sale. They can just run this as their central hub of their operations. The other side of the channel is the Phoenix LSP. Yep. All right, so we're going to pay this invoice. Oh, somebody pay the invoice? What's that? Did anybody pay my invoice? Oh, you paid it. Excellent. I can return that to you. Thank you for your donation. All right, and that's the end of the tutorial. Did anybody get to the end of the tutorial? You said you paid yours, right? So you finished. All right, we got one. We got one. All right, who else? Anybody else finish? Yes. Yes. Cool. Nice job, Tony. All right, who else? We got 2. Anybody? We're gonna get a 3rd. Oh, but you didn't make a product and sell it?
Oh, I did.
Oh, sweet. All right. All right. Number 3. All right. Are we gonna get a 4? Going once. Was that? Yes. Yes. Nice. All right. Was that 4 or 5? I think that was 4. All right, and So let's just, so we're going to finish the installation. We did the configuration, product management, product sales. Just a few sort of future directions to enable the fully sovereign individual. We're going to add accounting analysis, tax reporting features, swaps on-chain and off-chain. Fiat exchange, this is kind of a cool feature that I heard from Rockstar with BTC Pay, allowing merchants to be a fiat exchange. That's kind of a cool idea, I think, because then, like the devs are not operating an exchange, but each merchant gets to sort of figure out what their local laws, how to be a money transmitter in their local jurisdiction. And then you could just do without, in most places you can do without KYC. You can figure out a way. Stable channels is definitely somewhere on the roadmap, hopefully soon. Obviously, we want privacy. We want merchants to be able to mix their coins and have as much privacy as possible. Cold storage integration. We want to teach merchants how to put their coins into cold storage. Full node integration. This is something that would require a modification to Phoenix D, or using like LDK maybe. Mining integration would be pretty cool. Nostr integration would be pretty cool. And that's it. Enjoy being a sovereign Bitcoin merchant. Special thanks to the Ambrosia devs. Thanks, guys. Let's destroy fiat. Thank you for going on the individual sovereignty journey with me.